Assalamualaikum and hi to Madam Shakila. Before we start with our presentation, I would like to introduce our team member. The first one is me myself, named as Aina Nur Shafika binti Muhammad Sharil. My metric number will be 2023497166. And the second member is Akmal Alif. His student ID is 20238772288. And the third member will be Faria Aiman binti Sabri Razman. Her student ID will be 2023694328. And the last member will be Nur Ashikin binti Azmi. Her student ID is 202347566. Before we start, let's take a glance of our agenda or content for today. The first one will be introduced about company background together with the introduction, and the next one will be explain about our chosen company business characteristic, and the fourth one will be a classification of business item. Following by the classification of business item, we will explain about how the business process and how the business record its financial transaction. And the last one will be explained and will be discussed about strength and weakness of the financial recording, strength and weakness on how the business record its financial transaction.
Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. My name is Nur Ashikin binti Azmi, student ID 2023-457 and 666. I will be presenting about the background business of the company. The company that I'm presenting is TSN Clothing, which is a short form from the Subtimental. TSN Clothing were registered as a solo proprietorship and located in Kajang, Selangor. It was owned by Muhammad Hafizi Ramlan only at the age of 23 years old. Hafizi been using all of his saving money just to build up the business. TSM main venture of business is selling branded clothing and accessories. They might not have any physical store, but they do have online website store, which is easy for you to access wherever you are and find whatever you want. Their main focus is for men fashion, which is easier for you to filter and find what kind of fashion for men that you want. They have a shirt, socks, cap, or even sunglasses for men. They don't have any fashion for girls, but if you are looking for present for your boyfriend, your brother, and or even your father, you can find it on TSM Clothing. And in the year of 2020, it was their officially year where they are submitted the SSM form, and that's when they got their first gross profit at 19,000 ringgit.
So I'm going to talk about business characteristic. TSM Clothing is a sole proprietorship business. It's registered with the business register under business registration at 1957. The capital is contributed by the owner to start the business, which is RM20,000 ringgit. The business is owned by the owner itself, Encik Muhammad Hafizi bin Ramlan, and then the business is managed and controlled by the owner itself. And then for the profit or loss, it belong to the owner, and any losses are incurred by the owner. For the liabilities, it has unlimited liabilities, and for book and account, no legal obligation to keep the books and prepare account.
It is 2023877288. I will continue the presentation with the next point, which is the classification of business item. The first point for the business item is asset. For the asset, we have a current asset that we know as a short-term asset to the business, and then we have account receivable. Account receivable, that one we know as a sales on credit, payment or installment, is the amount of credit sales that are not collect in cash. When you sell at credit, you give the customer an invoice, you did not collect the cash at the same time. That's the point of the sale. And then we go to their inventory. It can be the equipment to run the business, such as the stock, like the jersey, t-shirt, pants, caps, jacket, and others accessories. And then we go to the non-current asset. Non-current asset also sometimes we know that is a fixed asset or resources that our business cannot easily convert to cash and won't turn into cash profit for over a year. They often represent a significant portion of total resources that a company controls. Business typically hold non-current asset for a long period with the hope that their asset value will be increased in the future. And then for the non-current asset, we have machinery, and then also we have the vehicles. The next point is liabilities. In general, liabilities is an obligation between one party and another not yet complete or be paid for. In the world of accounting, a financial liability is also an obligation, but is more defined by previous business transaction, events, sales, exchange of asset or service, or anything that will be provide economic benefit in the future. Liabilities are categorized as non-current and also current depending on their temporary. And then we go to the capital. Capital is a money for business that has used for daily operation and future growth. It is an important part of starting and running a successful business. Capital is mostly defined as a cash, liquid asset that are held for the purpose of making profit. For the capital, we have owner equity. Owner equity is the right owner have to all of the asset that pertain to their business. This equity is calculated by subtracting liabilities of a business as from its asset, representing of all the money that would be eaten. The next point for the classification of business item is revenue. Revenue is the total of amount of money earned by the company from the sales of goods or service. The ultimate goal of any new business is to generate revenue as quickly and efficiently as possible while keeping production and service expenses as low as they can. Calculating profit is done by deducting a company expenses from its revenue. There is two types of revenue. One is operating revenue, which is a sales of goods or service, and then the other one is non-operating revenue. This is daily transaction. And then we go to the last point for the classification of business item, which is expenses. Expenses refer to the cost associated with running a business to generate revenue. These costs include product and service purchased to produce the business product or service, as well as the general day-to-day as a advertising, insurance, carriage hour, utilities, purchase inventory, carrier inward, and the custom duty.
Okay, now we'll take a closer look behind the scenes at DSM Clothing, exploring the intricate process of how the company handles and record its financial transaction. We need to understand this procedure because it is crucial for gaining insight into the financial health and decision making of dynamic organization. So let's take a look process on how they record their financial transaction. The first one will be on the transaction, which means they know their debit and credit transaction. The next one will be source of document, which mean including the receipts, the bills, receipts, the invoices, and the bank statement, and many more. After the source of document, they will do the cash flow, which mean all the transactions that been recorded during the sales period. And the last one will be the ledger, which mean all the account for cash account, account receivable account, inventory account, account payable account, and many more. They will be recorded under ledger. Okay, the next one, let's comment on what has been done by the business as compared to what we have learned during our lecture. As for me, a key component of methodically capturing and recording financial transaction is the accounting procedure known as a business recording. Instead, it complies with a basic accounting rules to guarantee an accurate and trustworthy financial reporting. Because based on the accounting principle, the following analysis of the business recording process work has been done. And also recording business transaction, the specific of which are obtained from the source of documents, is the first step in accounting process. And also TSM clothing has been documenting business transaction through the accounting process, which approach and which being with the transactions and procedure through cash book, ledger, and source of documentation. There is no legal requirement for sole proprietorship business to produce their accounts and also maintain their accounting books.
TSM closing have the capacity to raise capital is limited, and any decision of the business is responsible by the owner. If the business is a partnership business, it has more capital is available to for the business, and then any decision for the business regarding about the business operation will responsible by 2 or more people. It's not only the owner itself.
And my comment for TSM clothing is that since they've been 100% using online platform to sell their item, they also need to generate report of sales in different kind of form. For example, if they've been using Shopee, they need to generate report from Shopee. And if they do using TikTok, they need to generate the report from TikTok. But for Facebook and Instagram, they can just see the transaction in their bank statement. But the thing is, for me, the costing of paying the commission gonna be quite high for them. But it's still bearable because it's not as high as having a physical store. Because they won't consume you to pay the rent, the utilities, and all the furniture. But also, the sales reports gonna be a bit biased and not accurate enough because of you need to calculate the sales and generate your own sales report, since the report been come from different kind of form.
Okay, so we continue the next presentation with the comment on what has been done by the business as compared to what I have been learned. Okay, my comment regarding the business is good for the young generation to start their own business, and then compare to what I have been learned. This business is similar to what I have been learned. There's a sole proprietorship business, and then the business was handled by Mr. Hafizi itself. and then the capital was contributed by itself, which is Mr. Hafizi, and all the recording is still manually as what I have been learned. I hope that he can use the system in the future because it can help him to monitor the accounting more efficiently lah. And then it can be easily to trace every transaction, every recording, every document if there is any shortage and any problem in the future. Okay, so we will continue with the last part from my part. That one is the strength and weakness of the TSM plotting recording process. Firstly, we will go to the strength. First point for the strength is detailed description of each transaction. Accounting transaction refer to any business activity that result in a direct effect on the financial status and the financial statement of the business, such as transaction come in many forms, including sales in cash and credit to the customer, receipt of cash from a customer by sending an invoice, purchase of a fixed asset and movable asset, borrowing fund from a creditor, paying off borrower fund from a creditor, payment of a cash to a supplier from send a invoice. And then we will go to the second point for the strength. Easily can trace the cash flow because there is a recording for the every transaction has been done. Cash flow is the movement of money in and out of from the company. Positive cash flow indicates that the company liquid assets are increasing. And then the last point for the strength, complete documentation of every transaction. This business keep every invoice that he receives. Source documents are first and foremost important to the bookkeeping and accounting process because they serve as physical evidence that a financial transaction actually occurred. Nowadays, these documents do not necessarily need to be a physical hard copy. They may be in traceable electronic form, which is a system. Okay, and then we will continue with the weakness. The first point for the weakness is this company is still using the manual system. Nowadays, it's better to avoid to have a system to avoid any mistake in recording and bookkeeping. And then the second point for the weakness is did not have a proper platform to do the accounting. Mostly company nowadays have their own system to do the accounting. It can help the company to do accounting easily without any problem. And then the last one for the weakness, account information may be biased. Different methods of inventory evaluation, depreciation methods, treatments of revenue and capital expenses can be adopted by the accountant for measurement of income of the entity. Hence, the income derived in certain cases might be incorrect due to the lack of objectivity. That's all from me. Thank you.